Last Thursday, ExxonMobil conducted a presentation on oil spill at the Region 6 RDC's statutory meeting. Narima Ali reports.
At the Region 6 monthly statutory meeting held last Thursday in the regional boardroom, a team of technicians from ExxonMobil conducted a presentation on their plans to combat an oil spill if the need arises when drilling for oil. The Oil Spill Response Advisor attached to ExxonMobil, Mr. Thomas Tomlin, highlighted the following in his presentation.
So, something happens, there's an alarm, and we alert everybody on scene. That's what will happen in every event. Then what we're going to do is secure the ignition source. We're going to make sure that there's no chance of fire, because it's going to be even worse if we have an oil spill and a fire. So make sure that you secure the ignition source. Then we're going to shut down, make sure the valves close, make sure the pipes stop leaking, any of those other things. And we're going to make sure we do a site safety characterization. So we're going to make sure if it's safe to go here, no. If it's safe to go here, yes. We're going to approach it from that. Make sure everybody's safe. You don't want a fire, and you don't want anybody hurt. Then we want to account for personnel. We want to treat and transport anybody that may be injured. We want to make sure we get the injured personnel out of there if someone is injured. We want to make sure we make the notifications. I'm going to call my boss. I'm going to make the notifications to the government. I'm going to call the local minister. I'm going to call whoever authority I need to call and make sure that we do that. I'm also going to call additional resources if I need them. I'm going to isolate the area. I'm going to make sure I corral anything that's leaked out, and then I'm going to make sure we clean it up. So whether it's Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, every event happens just like that in that sequence. It takes some unique pieces of equipment, and these vessels like this are huge. They're big. And so when you're out in the open ocean, this looks small here, but it could be a half a mile wide, it could be a mile wide. And so this is huge. So you've got skimming vessels here. You've got an ROV vessel that's down looking at the situation below the ocean. Because remember, you can't see any further than here. So you have to send your eyes and ears down below. But just to let you know from the modeling that we've done from this particular area, it's 5 to 10 days before it reaches the shoreline. And it's about a 5% chance of hitting Guyana. And if it is, it's going to be way up on the northern end of Guyana, if it does. But that 5 to 10 days is if we don't do anything. And we're not going to not do anything. From zero time, we're going to stop that oil from reaching the Guyanese shoreline.
He also explained the company's calendar for training Guyanese to clean up an oil spill.
We have RRT training, regional response team training. We're going to do some of that here in a couple of weeks here in Guyana. The 3 weeks after that, we're going to do some training with that same team where we're going to go to the shoreline and do some assessment training on the shoreline where we'll actually spend 1 day in the classroom. We'll figure out how we're going to clean this beach. Then we're actually going to go to the beach. There's no oil on the beach, but they're going to pick up straws and plastic and anything that's on the beach that they want to, and they're going to pretend like that's oil, and they're going to categorize it, they're going to segregate that waste, and they're going to make sure they recycle it. So that's one of the tools that we use for that training on emergency response.
Following the presentation, Mr. Tomlin responded to questions from his audience. A question was raised by the regional chairman, Mr. David Armagon, which stated, in the case that there is an oil spill and it reaches the coast, many fishermen will be affected by this. How does the company plan to handle it? The question was addressed by Mr. Rod Henson, the lead country manager attached to ExxonMobil.
We're going to ensure though that this doesn't happen. If it does happen, we are obligated to fix it and to make it right. And in addition to our own agreement, there's existing laws and regulations that are going to do
ExxonMobil is focused on working hand in hand with the government and people of Guyana to combat an oil spill if the need arises. Narima Ali, Channel 8 News.